minutes late going live because Travis just showed up at the last second at the fucking buzzer, and I had to prep myself. Hi, Travis.
Hey, guys.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's had a quick little scramble to figure out what to do with the cameras. Oh, well.
I feel like the most unfortunate thing about this is the way you did the graphic. Viewers are not going to be able to see Travis's Discord profile picture, which has got to be when he was in like a middle school production of The Crucible.
I was actually in Germany and like almost like an Airbnb type thing, and I found that in the closet and I put it on.
Wait, hold on. No, pause. We'll tweet this. I'll find this photo and we will tweet this. What? Is it just a thing that they provided, or did someone leave it, or like what? I need more.
I'm pretty sure an old lady lived there. And
oh, it was an Airbnb. Okay, never mind. I thought you said it was a hotel. Sorry.
No. It was just in a closet, and I just put it on. And my mom's like, "Please don't put that on," and I did anyways.
And then he did it anyway.
Yeah. So
the
beautiful.
Travis story.
Beautiful. Well, Travis, thank you for joining us. You don't hate Friends this episode. I'm very happy about it.
Allegedly.
Yeah. But you know what we do all collectively hate? What we had to watch last week. Yeah. It was gross. Travis, it's been a minute, so let's dive in. Let's get how are you feeling so far this season? Let's get your like overall like Travis missed 5 episodes. Let's catch up, sort of thing.
How I'm feeling, I feel like nothing's changed since expansion season. Almost like Hani's still carrying the weight of the offense on his shoulders. You know, it's either Liao or Godoy that's out injured. It's Liao this time. The secondary striker thing, it just isn't clicking. I mean, outside of the one season where we finished 3rd in the East, when Sapong was fighting for his life and doing well, but now he's fallen off. It's been 347 days since he's last scored a goal. Till Bunbury is Till Bunbury.
Yeah,
it just feels like the same team. Like we were promised, obviously, top end spending hasn't happened. Mike Jacobs has done a great job finding MLS talent. Now finding international talent. I mean, because he knocked it out of the park.
Falcao to Nashville confirmed.
He knocked it out of the park with Hani. But we can't just let the one signing with Hani carry him and let him get a pass. I mean, even Liao struggled a bit and not been really a home run. He's been an all right player, but he hasn't been a home run hit.
Yeah,
and we swing and miss on way too many international players to be successful with. You know,
I feel like that's a very fun segue into the most disappointingly exciting thing about NSC this week.
We got an international roster spot.
Yes,
I think it's because we sell it so often,
dude. I'm so used to us selling it for GAM that when I saw it, I'm like, great, more GAM they won't use. Like, my immediate thought was, oh, we got more GAM. And
I thought we sold, yeah.
I had to sit there and look at the tweet like 5 or 6 times before it like fully set in that we got one of our international roster spots back, which has to mean the only logical reason they would do that at this point after selling them off is that they are going to need it and they are close to a deal with someone.
And the transfer window closes Monday. So
I wonder if it's the last second.
So I don't know.
James Rodriguez.
Yeah, right. the Falcao.
I would be so disappointed by both of those things.
The meme on Twitter right now is that it's gonna be a center back. It's gonna be a backup center back, and we're all gonna be bummed out.
Isn't that the most Nashville SC thing they could do, though?
Yes.
Dude, I am so over it. I'm not even getting my hopes up anymore. I see Lake 2. I'm just not even like excited anymore. I'm like, it's gonna be a fucking defender or some washed up MLS 33-year-old guy that's looking for a team. I'm like, good grief, dude. Like, we can't do anything exciting. It feels like we see these other clubs making cool signings, and they're doing well with them, and we're just like, hey, you got any guys you're gonna give the goodwill or put a TJ Maxx is gonna resell? Like, fuck, we can't go and get some new shiny piece. I mean, Hani's the only one I can think of that's been successful. So
I put on my tinfoil hat earlier this week, and upon thinking about it, and plus I was just being a silly, goofy little guy, was what's his name? Kimi Amici, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's on FanDuel. He's like the 6th most likely person to score a goal this weekend. He's French. We just got an international roster spot, but then Clay pointed out he's probably likely already taking up one of those spots because he was signed to Nashville and sent down to Huntsville. So
my boy Ronan from Soundwave that covers Huntsville.
Yeah,
he did confirm that he's already on the senior spot, so international slot's not for him. But I will be interested to see Amici play for the varsity.
Varsity. He's gonna letter in soccer this year.
You didn't letter in shit, bro.
Yeah.
No, I'm eager to see how he does. I mean, was it Liati, the big guy everyone's hyped about in Huntsville?
Mm-hmm.
He's been out injured though, so I'm eager to see what we can come up with through Huntsville. But
I think we'll probably see 1 or 2 of those Huntsville guys end up in that Open Cup match coming up against San Antonio, and that'll be kind of our first view at some of them. I wouldn't be surprised if Amici starts that game.
Yeah, that'd be. I would be interested to see that.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the bench this weekend. I'm not actually putting any stock into the FanDuel thing that I came across. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun and goofy that it's there, but typically these apps in Vegas don't take MLS too seriously, nor do they probably research it that much. So I'm not surprised that a random name shows up on a game that's probably getting bet on by 15 people. So whatever, but it's fun to think about. You know who would take up an international roster spot? One Yonder Cadiz. Back to Nashville confirmed. He replied to me on Instagram. I saw he replied to 2 other NSC fans on Instagram. Yonder to Nashville confirmed.
What are you responding with? Fuck you, go away.
No. I replied
Today
on one of his.
Travis doesn't listen to our show.
Yeah, dude. I replied to one of his goal videos from last week. With come back to Nashville, please, and he replied with a little hands up high five emoji, and then all of his friends liked it. And then after I said it on this show, I saw 2 other people do similar things, and he replied every single time to Nashville fans. So Cadiz to Nashville confirmed.
Hey, speaking of me not listening to your pods, what does butter slug mean?
Oh, you still don't know?
No.
I don't even. I just know you're a little butter.
Nobody tell him.
Yeah, you're a little buttery boy.
I've been so busy, man.
Dude, honestly, I don't remember. I just remember that it was funny, and you're just gonna have to go back in the archives and figure out why you're a butter slug. I just know that you are.
I'm gonna listen to all those things I missed.
And if I had time, before we started, I would have made your photo a butter slug, but I was scrambling.
Yeah,
I did it so you couldn't do that. I came in hot.
That was the whole reason.
Minute.
He's actually about to leave, just so you can't do it now. He's here for his contractually obligated 10 minutes.
Cut eating out. Sorry.
Oh man,
that is down with the sickness. What is going on with Travis' internet?
Yeah, but I think Travis, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm not expecting anything earth-shattering with this international roster spot or anything this window or the window in the summer. I would not be surprised if there was a signing, but I'm not expecting anything crazy. I did, however, make a move for Olivier Giroud on FIFA 23. So if I could do it, surely they can make it happen in real life.
Firmino, Bobby Firmino.
Didn't they say today he's basically done deal? He signed.
They're basically trying to get him to stay. They're working on a deal.
Yeah. I need us to do something, but our weekly bitching about a true striker on this team, something needs to happen, because this previous game, and we'll get into the NSC versus NYCFC talk here in a second, but this previous game shows me that like we cannot depend on our defense every single game. Like, yes, they are, I still think, one of the best defenses in the league. But if they have a game like every team's going to, like every defensive core is going to, and they slip up even a little bit, we have nothing to reply back with except for Hani Mukhtar. And that's not going to cut it. There's a world where Shaq Moore covers on that first play a little bit better. We don't fuck up on that set piece, and Hani scores the goal that he does, and we're sitting here right now talking about how this was the most Gary Smith masterclass of all time, because the rest of the game was how we expected, right? It was that 15-minute stretch where we just kind of had a couple defensive lapses that Gary Smith called a travesty, that ruined us. We could have come out of that with a 1-0 win very, very easily.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I was out of town and was following the game via like Twitter. Hates how Apple TV doesn't have an Android app where I couldn't watch it on my phone.
That's fair.
I went to go see my folks. So the first goal happened, and my dad was like, "Oh, has the game started?" I was like, "Oh yeah, they're already losing.
It's already over."
Yeah. Because even the narrative on the post game was Nashville looked really good. It would just be bad. Like it would be better if it didn't take them going down a goal to open up.
So I was at a travel tournament. I was watching one of my school kids play. He's been begging me to come watch his games all season, and I finally came. And so I was able to watch the game the following day on Apple, and our crosses suck. We just cross it and hope for the best.
Well,
there's no.
Yes, that is a big part of our game plan, unfortunately. But especially last game, because we went down so early that they were just Hail Marying it, man.
It was desperate ball, and you could kind of blame it on striker, but when you're overcooking a ball by 20 feet, that's not on striker. That's on you delivering an accurate ball.
Yeah, 100%.
But also, when it is accurate, our striker has to finish it. I don't know. I feel like if we just approach the game more expansive from the get-go, we'd have a lot better chances of winning. Your chances of winning on the road in MLS are already slim. Yeah. So why not go for it? Like getting a result period on the road in MLS is actually, it was like 25% of teams that are on the road get a result, and a result of either a draw or any type of point. So if your percentage is that low, why not just go for it from the get-go?
I feel like the game plan going into that game was, we're playing on a baseball field. It is a narrow field, right? They're going to have to go through us. We're so good defensively that we will keep our shape and get out of there with a 0-0, 1-0, 0-0 draw or a 1-0 win. And when those two goals went in, it was like, okay, fuck it. Just airmail it in. Like, shoot from 20 feet outside the box, cross it into hopefully someone there, and try to see what we can make happen. And it just wasn't there. And we don't have the pieces to make that happen when we go down like that. If we go down early like that for most of the season, I'm not going to feel very good about it. I think I saw a stat on Twitter that was like, of the last 18 games that Nashville has conceded a goal, we've won one of them.
Ooh.
Which is not great. I
might go so far as to call that bad.
I would call that is bad. That is awful. But let's also keep in mind that we have a very good defense and we don't concede goals that often, So but still, that's an unacceptable stat. That's not okay,
You know who I want to shout out?
Huh?
Joe Willis.
Oh yeah,
he's had a pretty good season.
Yeah, no, he has had a magnificent season. I think he is. If he's on any other team, if he's on any major market team, he is like the talk of MLS right now for like goaltender of the season.
Here's the thing, though. You have you have Joe Willis playing like
2 goals.
He's playing lights out right now. He's doing really good. You have Walker Zimmerman and Jack Mayers. We have a really good defense.
Yeah.
You have a really good goalkeeper. There's no need to sit back and play Gary ball anymore.
No.
Like at this point, it's not even like like they're not doing good because of Gary ball. They're doing good because they're good players back there. We've invested pretty solid in our defense and goalie. Our midfield is aging. AARP members up back there. We need to invest in midfield and some type of creativity where it's not guys who can just get ran past anymore. Like Dax is older. He don't have the legs he has.
Yeah.
Godoy is also like 33, 34. He's pushing around 34 or whatever. Yeah. He's also injury prone, so he doesn't have the legs he has anymore. Then you sign Grey Goose, who's also 32.
To be fair, in the time he was in this last game and the time I've seen him play, I want to see more of him.
I want to see more Grey Goose, but my point is we're going too old in our midfield.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to go younger. And our version of young was signing Sean Davis, who I like, but his age, he was 29 when we signed him. He was already pushing 30 right there. Why can't we go 26, 27, get a solid midfielder? Like,
you know what this feels like?
Do it.
It feels like they set up this team to have a window of this year and last year to really make a push for something with the expectation that Ake Loba was going to pan out. If Ake Loba had panned out last season, we would have been a contender. If Ake Loba was here doing what he was supposed to do, these problems would not have really been a talking point at all. Like, yeah, it would be like the conversation, like, yeah, we have an aging midfield, but everywhere else is so good that we can replace them with whoever in the offseason. But since that didn't happen, we're just kind of fucked. It feels like they built it to lead up to right now, and it's not panning out.
Well, John mentioned last season, I think it was, that we're going to have to revamp our entire midfield in the next season or two. And when we do, it's going to be a drop-off because we relied so heavily on certain players, Godoy, McCarty, and, I mean, Davis has a couple more years left in him, obviously, but we relied so heavily on those two midfielders. When they go, we're going to have to find a replacement or replacements, and it may take a while, like, to find something that works. And our concern, mentioning the old midfield, is that Hani is only in his prime for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Right now, we have a prime Hani. Make the most of it, or you're going to end up pissing him away. What the Titans did. The Titans had a window when Derrick Henry was firing on all cylinders, and they missed the window to do something.
I was listening to
Hani is our Derrick Henry, so
I was listening to Pharma Soccer earlier today, and Clay had actually mentioned that in particular, where it's like you looked at the Titans, right, and they were like irrelevant for like 5 to 7 years, probably more, and then they had this window, kind of like NSC has right now, where they have Derrick Henry, they have they're contenders, they have a chance to do something, and they kind of didn't live up to what they were supposed to be, and then you saw a winning football team fire their GM. I don't, and I'll second Clay's opinion. I don't think that's happening yet with NSC, but I think this is the first year where I've seen, like, there's always been people who've said like Gary out or whatever, and there's been whatever, but I feel like this is the first year where we're starting to see actual kind of rumblings of like, okay, what are you doing? Like, you have it. It's you have the base. Do something. And if we don't see it, and I'm not calling for it, but if we don't see it in the next year or two, I would be 0% shocked to move on from either Gary, the GM, whatever.
I'm calling for it.
You have been for like a year and a half though.
And look where it's gotten us.
Yeah. I think the on the field comparison to the Titans is very apt, but I think the front
and
office
the Preds to an extent.
See, but that's the comparison for like coaching and front office, is because they had the one GM until this summer.
Yeah.
They had the one coach for like 15 years.
Well, that was Barry Trotz.
Longer than that. But they built on a system. They built on defense first. They built on signing older stars at the end of their career.
Yeah.
For a number of years. And then they experienced success and they plateaued and they regressed.
Yeah. And
so we just skipped the first like 15 years of Predsdom.
We plateaued. When we get top 3 in the East, I think that was honestly, that might have been our ceiling. That was like, hey, that's as far as you can take us with the current build that we have, the current strategies that we're going for. This is much as you can go. Like, you look at the teams who are mighty successful on just like the Seattles, the LAFCs, those teams. I'm not saying we're going to spin like LAFC because there's no way in hell.
Yeah.
But because we barely spend more than RSL. But
that hurts.
Yeah, I mean
that's upsetting.
When you look at those teams, look what they're doing. They're not going older and more experienced. I mean, they have a couple older guys, but they're not going for that throughout their whole squad. They have a lot of dynamic players who are young or in their prime sprinkled into the squad, and that's why they're successful.
Yeah.
So here's what I'd want to see from NSC, and it should have started last year because I like the base. And I think we all like the base that NSC built going into MLS. Like, I'm very happy that we're stout defensively. It hasn't panned out at striker, but I like what we've done. But at this point, I would have liked to see what you're saying, Travis, where they're sprinkling in, players under the age of 25, under the age of 22, that they
can't do it.
Why? That's what's happening league wide.
It's in Mike Jacobs' contract. He has an obligation to only sign players 27 and older.
No, correct. I thought you were being serious for a second. I was like, fucking why?
Gary Smith, that's why.
I would have loved to see them build this base of veterans to get us competitive off the bat, and then start sprinkling in these young talents as we went along. Like, if at this point we're performing how we were, but they signed someone under the age of 23 and they threw him in at striker or in midfield, and they were playing with young talent like the rest of the league is, while replacing these old veterans over time, I would have been okay, even with the same record, the same style, the same everything. That fact alone, I would have been way more excited about this team than I am currently.
You know why? Because those young players have a development stage. They have a higher ceiling. Those 33, 34-year-olds, they've already hit their ceiling.
Yeah.
And so, same results, different squads. This one can improve a lot. This one is probably going to decline more. And so,
at some level, though, if you're wanting to develop young players and integrate them into your team, theoretically, is that not what Huntsville is for?
No, correct. Yeah, and we're finally starting to see a little bit of that with the excitement behind Sipic, behind Amici, behind Liotti, behind whoever else.
Right, but it seems it seems illogical to me to say, this is the first 3 months of our MLS Next Pro team's roster build. Why aren't we integrating them yet? It's like if you just start making, like, if you're browning hamburger and you stop halfway through and you go, why don't I have tacos? Like,
why don't I have tacos, John?
Well,
why don't I have tacos?
Because Travis ate them when he went to Taco Bell.
That's the thing. Other teams haven't had MLS Next Pro for that long, but the thing is, they didn't need to use that to develop. They're bringing in kids randomly, like they're signing kids left and right that from other academies at that. and then throwing them into the senior team, letting them learn, maybe sit the bench for a couple times and giving them minutes and stuff like that. Even look at Gary Smith back in USL. He didn't like playing younger players.
Yeah.
There were a ton of young players that we wanted to see, but he just wouldn't play them. And now MLS, like, it's been the same way. He had younger options, and he goes with the older guys.
How much of that with USL do you think was Gary playing for the MLS job?
I think it's a big part. I think it's Gary Smith as a manager. I know coaches, and it's like high school, middle school level, whatever. I know a coach personally who had 70 kids try out for his team. He kept all the 8th graders and cut a lot of 7th and 6th graders because he wanted bigger and older or whatever.
Yeah.
And they didn't do very well this season. I'll leave it at that.
Does Gary Smith coach in your league?
No, this is a team in my district.
Yeah.
In my district, he it's one of the local ones, not any big schools, but they had a lot of football and baseball players come out, whatever. But he kept a lot of the football and baseball players, and they didn't do too hot.
Yeah.
And
I feel
you gotta invest. You gotta give young guys a chance, or whatever. And I don't know, but I know some other teams that have gone older like that and have been successful. Like there's a school called Harris in our middle school, and they have a lot of really good 8th graders, and they were smart to bring those kids in. But some coaches are like that other coach I'm talking about that only wanted 8th grader. I think he has 20-something kids on his team, and 20 of them are 8th graders.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And so it doesn't always work out going older in that sense. But
yeah, I think like I said, I have no problem. Like, and I've been a Gary Smith apologist at times, and have been very trust the system. And I think, like we talked about it last episode, Travis, that like I am very aware that NSC from the beginning of their MLS journey till now has been very, very, very fortunate that they have had a once in a decade talent in Hani Mukhtar. They've had amazing games, amazing situations, getting into the playoffs, winning games in the playoffs, getting third in that one season, like having a back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, an MVP. Like, I'm very aware that we are lucky, but it feels like we got lucky, and they are refusing to improve upon it, and that's where my problem lies. Like, literally, if like I said a second ago, if we were sprinkling in some young talent and everything else was the same, I would be way more positive about this season and forward.
We have H-Man in chat saying, "Are we the Galaxy with a good defense?" Personally, I don't want to think so. But also fuck the Galaxy because they're the reason that we have to wear this bullshit highlighter yellow.
True.
Hate them.
True. Very true.
But the comparison is hurtful because it's probably true.
So I have an honest question for you and for everyone in chat, and if you're listening to the pod afterwards, tweet it at the sound check or at me or Travis or John or whatever. Aside, like, let's ignore the aging roster or whatever. When it comes to play style alone, I've seen a lot of people get very annoyed that we are not an attacking team. Are you guys okay with this play style from Gary Smith? Like, do you have issue with the sturdy defense and take our moments on offense kind of play when it comes to just a soccer product you'd want to watch? And I'm not talking what the general public or the normie or the new fan would want to watch. You personally.
I have no issue with the patient team, but there's such thing as patience and then just hoping for I don't feel like they're patient. I feel like they sit back and hope to maybe find a hole eventually because they have one player that can punish a team. They don't have like 2 strikers up there that could punish someone. They have one that's a dummy and just like sits there He just occupies space at that point, and the other one's actually doing something.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have no issue with, like I said, being patient defensively, but like at least try to do something expansive. Like you can't just sit back the entire time. It's like the dam's gonna break eventually, and it has in games. Like we've sit back to start a game and we concede a goal because it happens. It's MLS. MLS doesn't have the highest quality, but it's so it's stuff like that's gonna happen. So I don't think you can just truly sit back and be patient and be successful. Not in this league necessarily. Yeah. I mean, Atletico Madrid does it, but they have like some of the highest quality defenders you can get in Spain.
Yeah,
because they're pretty rich. But I don't know. I like when I'm coaching. I like being expansive, so it's not my preferred choice. But I can appreciate someone being patient defensively and executing that.
John, what you think?
I don't love it because it is a stressful fan experience. When you know a lot of your team's games are going to end up 1-0 or 0-0 or 2-1 or that type of low scoring close game. If one goal can win it and your team is constantly absorbing pressure to try to soak it in and then spring a counterattack, that's exhausting. Because it feels like every attack that your team is conceding, that could lose the game.
Yeah.
That we could lose the game on this. And I mean, I feel like it's a coaching cliche, and Travis can correct me if I'm wrong. But isn't there something like start every game like you're down 1-0? Like play every game like you're losing?
Well, I just tell them it's 0-0 all the time. Like that's the most common thing.
That's what Gary wants.
Well, the thing is, I tell them play like it's 0-0 and you're going for the win. Like I don't tell them ever like.
So you lost Nashville at going for the win.
See, there's a team in our district that hasn't lost a district game in 4 years. They don't belong in our district, obviously.
Yeah,
last year they mercy ruled every team but 2 of us, and mercy rules 9-0 by the way. Ugh. And they just don't belong. But even when I'm playing against them, I don't sit back defensively. I'm like, take it to them. They're used to teams sitting back and being scared of them. So I say, go high press, get in their face. I mean, we lost, but it was 2-1, not 9-0. So we came close, but I don't know. I just tell them at 0-0, go fight. I had to get on one game this season. They went down 1-0 and their heads dropped at halftime. And I was like, guys, it's 1-0. Like, what are you doing? And I dug into them. Very next game, they won 5-1. Like they came out there with fire, and I told them, you fight every second, tooth and nail from start to finish. You do not get your head down. And they've made a 180 turn this season. And I don't know. I've always just told them play like it's 0-0 no matter what the score is. If we're up 3-0, you keep bringing that same intensity. Don't get cocky. Don't sit back and just, we got it or whatever. So that's what I always told. I've heard that 1-0 thing though, but I just never used it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I was yelling at my dog to stop squeaking. I don't know if that came through.
Did you have a dog pee behind you again? That's the thing that you missed, Travis.
Yeah.
I saw the tweet.
Yeah. So I've decided that they go in their kennel while I'm streaming, and Marley was trying to escape, so I told him to stop.
So I think that's probably my main criticism of the play style. I know someone who is it H-Man again in chat says if it works, it's fine. And that's kind of where I'm at. But
see, I have no problem with it. I enjoy my team, and Nashville isn't this other than a couple players in a couple instances, but I enjoy some grit on my team. I enjoy a more defensive game in almost any sport. But I understand, like, obviously I get, go batshit crazy for goals, right? But I like how, if I were to build a team in almost any sport, I would have built it how Nashville did, at least strategically, defensively first, and then look for your offensive pieces along the way. That being said, I wouldn't have done it with like 75-year-old men like Nashville have, but I'm still hopeful. But I again am at times a Gary Smith and Nashville SC apologist. So I don't know. I think we've gone about as far as we can without really talking about this game, and there's not really a lot to talk about. We were bad. All right, that's it. Do you guys have any other opinions on this past game before we kind of start previewing?
I didn't watch it or the highlights, so
we've kind of danced around it and talked about aspects of it. We never really walked through the actual game.
I just don't think there's much to talk about because it's the same issues every time.
Yeah,
it really is. It's like it's nothing new to bring up. Like, oh crap, this happened and it cost us lose. No, we sat back immediately and conceded possession like we always do. And they got the goals first, and it forced us to come out of our shell. And we look better out of our shell.
Yeah,
it's the same story, every time.
And I think a big part of, I wouldn't say we're on a downturn, but we're the last couple of games have been great. I think a big part of why this Nashville SC team isn't impressing right now is we do not have Randall Leal. And I know it sucks to have to depend on one player or two players or whatever it is being out. And I wish that wasn't the case, but I think that's just kind of an MLS problem. I don't think MLS teams are very deep in talent just based off of how, pay structures are. So, losing someone like Randall Leal is going to be a huge deal, right? Like if we lost someone like him at any position, it's going to hurt us, right? And I think it's actively hurting us right now. Because when he was in that first game against NYCFC, granted, it was the first game of the year, he was dangerous and we looked good. And without him, I've definitely missed his presence on the field. I think he opens up the game a lot more. He is a threat that people have to deal with, and he is going to send bombs from outside the box. And who knows how many, garbage goals we could have gotten from Randall Leal bombs that they can't really catch and have to parry away directly to a Schaffelberg or to a Hani or whatever.
Or to CJ Train.
Yeah.
CJ's going to score a goal eventually, I swear.
How often has Leal been hurt? I know he's hurt for a good portion last season. He's been out for a good portion this season.
We talked about that in the NSC Discord, and someone actually came at us with the stats. I'm going to see if I can find it.
Because the balance, how often he picks up a knock seems quite a bit. Now, for the length of time he's been out, I'm not sure how much he's been out, but I know he picks up quite a few knocks. And if that's a consistent thing, shouldn't the front office have found a replacement for him in case that happens?
So this is a quote from, I think, the server admin actually. He said, "I know the narrative on Leal is he's always getting injured a lot, but I think it's just because he's such a quality player that people perceive his absence a lot more than when most other players are out. Leal only missed 6 games last season and 3 the year before."
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 games the year before, 6 games last season. That's 18 points. 18 points he's missing out on. You can say, assuming they're all wins, obviously. 18 points.
Assume they're all wins. Wouldn't it be 27? Isn't it 3 points for a win?
Wait, 3 points. You say 6 games?
6 games last season and then 9.
I was doing by season.
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing total. That's on me. Sorry, Travis.
No. You're all good. I should explain that better. So you have 6 games missed last season. That's 18 points, assuming they're all wins. Because if Leal adds such quality, you can't get those wins. That's 18 points missed out with a quality player like that, or whatever. Or even just say we get out of those 6 games. I wonder how many points we got out of those games. Actually,
we did not dive that deep.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Well, the thing is, if he's out, that's 3, 6, 9. How many games has it been this season since he's been out?
7, 6.
He's missed 6 games already this season.
Because he was only in that first one, right?
Yeah, he went out in that first game.
Damn. So wait, we're at game 8 now,
yeah.
Aren't we?
I think 8's this week, right?
Are we at 8 or 9?
Yeah, we're game plays 8, I think.
Regardless, it's 6 or 7 games that he's missed.
So say 7 games this season, 6 games last season, 3 games. That's consistently you're out for significant chunks. Because 6 to 7 games in a season is pretty significant.
Quarter of the season.
Yeah, it's significant. So if you have a player that's missing that much of the season now in his 3rd season, shouldn't we plan for him to be out? I would start planning that. Hey, Liao's probably going to get hurt at some point this season.
Yeah.
I know next season I would definitely be planning for it next season, and him and Godoy, because I'm guaranteed. No, I don't want it to happen. I guarantee Godoy goes down at some point this season.
It's been interesting to see, because I don't think any Nashville SC fan, I don't think anybody who follows MLS closely or knows about Randall Leal would say that Randall Leal is a bad player or that Randall Leal isn't a game changer. Like, of course he is. But it's interesting to see how the talk around him has changed. I remember that first season, it was pretty unanimous. Like, the opinion was that if he continues on his trajectory that we think he's going to be one of those players we sell off to a European club for maybe not big bucks, but for more than we got him for, right? And now no one's talking about that at all.
Well, when Liao was firing on all cylinders, and along with CJ, obviously, but I think CJ benefited from Liao and Hani clicking. We were top 3 in the East. We were actually second until like towards the end. We dropped a couple points. We dropped to 3rd. That's with everyone firing on all cylinders. You take CJ not scoring at all. You take Liao like being absent. We're not top 3, and it just shows like if you just had those 1 or 2 extra pieces with this team offensively, we're a really good team, because I have no issues with our defense and goalkeeping. Our midfield is just, it's all right for this season, but like maybe next season add a couple pieces. But like offensively is where we're really struggling, because honestly, like Schaffelberg was good for us coming in last season. He's been pretty decent. He's been pretty decent this season. Fafa has been decent, but the thing is, those 2 players have looked like in his stretch of games, they're kind of one-dimensional.
I mean, they're both speed merchants.
They're pace merchants a lot of the times, because how many times have you seen Schaffelberg, if he couldn't get around someone with speed, there's not much else he's going to do. He's not saucing people up.
At some level, though, how much of that is they only have one trick, and how much of it is coaching tells them to only do one thing if they want to play?
I think it's both. I
think it's both, because there's a reason why Houston warned us. Well, we signed Fafa. I had Houston fans messaging me. He's a pace merchant. He's a pace merchant. He'll score a nice goal for you, then go just running around the rest of the games. And then Toronto fans were like, there's a reason why he wasn't getting minutes. And it wasn't because they signed Insigne. It's because they couldn't find a spot for him. He played left back, left mid, left wing for him. He played along the left side because they were trying to find something for him.
I think,
and I like Schaffelberg. But when he gets held up and someone matches him with pace, he's not going to like sauce him up, get around him. But I think you have a couple one-dimensional wingers. Liao breaks that. Liao has some speed to him, but he's also saucy with it.
Yeah,
he can dance around people and get around them.
I think both of those players are interchangeable for each other, other than age, obviously. They play very similar games. They are difference makers. They wear down defenses because they're constantly running past them. Like, I thoroughly enjoy both of those players on my team. I do. Mm-hmm. I think Schaffelberg is that dude still. I think he can develop into something a little better than just a speed merchant over time. Fafa, definitely not. He's old, right? But
damn,
he's still good. I didn't say he was bad. He's good. It's just he's not going to suddenly develop into something else, right? I like having both those guys on my team. I wish it was paired with Leal right now, because we saw what happened when they were both in. Not a whole hell of a lot. And if they can't get their chances in behind, or Hani can't basically play them open, they're not doing what we need, you know? So I think once we get Leal back, it'll open up the game for both of them, hopefully. And hell, if we had a striker, everything would change. We just don't.
Yeah. No argument.
Okay, so going into this weekend against LAFC, I was violently optimistic on Twitter this week.
You were, dude.
I did it for the meme, but now I am all in. 4-2 win. It's gonna go in this order: Hani goal, Jack goal, CJ goal.
Okay. I mean, you have me at CJ goal.
The Jack goal is going to be off a header, very similar
Obviously
to what you would typically see from Zimmerman. CJ is gonna get just a trash like bounce it in front, whatever, and then Hani is just gonna do some magic like in the first half. So 4-2, calling it. Put money on it. Don't do that. Please don't put money on it.
Or put like $1 because the odds on that are so unlikely you can retire if it hits.
I put $1 on it, and I think I would get like $100 back or something if it.
My optimism for the game is I'm getting a Walker Zimmerman bobblehead.
That's pretty sick.
That is where the optimism starts and ends.
Yeah.
So I'm just here for the bobblehead, guys.
What do you think? Final score?
Me or Travis?
Either. You, John. John first, then Travis.
Okay. I'm gonna say it is a tightly contested, closer than the score looks 3-1 defeat.
Okay. What does that mean?
Because it means Denny Bouanga is playing like he will be the MVP this year. I know a lot of people are saying it's Thiago Almada, but there's no way Thiago Almada is in MLS all season. I think Nashville plays it close, but they just have so much class going forward. And Nashville has Hani Mukhtar.
See, I've seen friends in chat, and then from you, a couple people say that we'll let in 3 goals. I think last game was an anomaly and not what to expect from this defense. We'll be fine defensively. It's just
here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna win 2-1. CJ Sapong gets his goal to break the deadlock, and then everyone's gonna forget about CJ Sapong. By everyone, I mean Mike Jacobs and Gary Smith. Forget about him not scoring goals for almost a year, and everything's gonna be happy-go-lucky, and we're not gonna sign another striker. That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna be LAFC 2-1. CJ Sapong breaks the deadlock, and everyone's gonna forget about his goalless drought.
Okay, who scores the second goal?
Yeah, who scores the other one?
First goal is Hani Mukhtar. Second goal is CJ Sapong to win it.
I'll take
it.
And I'll take a siege goal.
Yeah, I would take a siege goal at this point.
Rainbow Six.
Even though I'm a big CJ fan.
And one thing I've learned about NSC fans is unanimously we love almost all the players. I'd say all of our players on like a personal level. And nothing would make me happier than to see CJ Sapong thrive the rest of the year. I don't think it'll happen, but I would love it.
Here's the thing.
But I would also like to see him replaced.
Here's the thing with CJ. I see a comment. I do not want CJ to stay starting. I want him gone. But it's such a Nashville thing for him to score.
It's so true.
And erase Gary Smith and Mike Jacobs' memory. And they go, hey, CJ's back to it. We're okay. That's what's going to happen. Now, do I want CJ to be a starter? Absolutely not. Get us someone else. But it's such a thing that would happen to us and our team. That
100%.
Why not?
And no, I agree. And I also don't want CJ to start. I also don't want Teal Bunbury to start. I would love for someone else to come in and one of those two guys, not both, be the backup to him, and then you have an Ethan Zubak as third, right? That's not happening. It's just I will believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
But until then, I wish nothing but the best for CJ Sapong, and I hope he scores a hat trick Saturday.
Yeah. Can I tell you my pipe dream that will never happen, but I want it so desperately? Is the reason that Nashville acquired an international slot is because they're finally going and getting Dejan Joveljic.
Oh yes.
And they're getting him right now. And he's gonna dunk on LAFC because they dunked on the Galaxy in El Tráfico. I want it desperatly. It will never happen.
Joveljic, I really want that player. He's too good to be riding the bench. He's too good to be a super sub.
Hold on.
Yeah.
He's so clutch.
And he knows it too. Like he's got that confidence that a good striker needs to have.
Hold on. I got us a player, guys. I got us a player.
Is it
Shut up. I got us a player.
Is it Jiz Hornkamp?
Yep. He is 25 years old. He plays in the Netherlands. On transfer market, he's like $500,000. He's $600,000. Jiz Hornkamp will solve all of our problems. He'll jizz on the rest of the MLS. We will not be stopped.
We can just buy him with GAM, right? We have
over
3 million in GAM, don't we?
I don't know that you can spend GAM to another league.
Young player
take it to a money transfer place like Walmart. They do money transfers, and send it to them.
We're gonna Western Union some fucking GAM.
In the grand scheme of things, for a Nashville player, young player, his name is Jizz. That's all you need to know.
Mitchell, he'll be jersey number 69, right?
You know who we need, guys? Aaron Johansson.
Not Jizz Hornkamp.
We need Aaron Johansson, former U.S. men's national team star back in 2014.
I don't know that I would ever call him a U.S. national team star. I would call him a player.
Mitchell,
he was a star in my eyes.
Mitchell in chat said he'll solve any jersey sale problems if there were any for sure. Yeah, there are none, but they would double their jersey sales overnight.
Imagine that name on the back of a Johnny Cash jersey.
Oh my god,
he would go first name, right?
I wish he would. I feel like he would not, but you know for a fact that so many of us would customize the jersey to just say Jizz on the back. You know it would happen.
Dude, they would run out of Z's.
It would be insane. Like, I will push for Jizz Hornkamp to come to NSC until the day I die. And if he doesn't pan out, look, send him to Huntsville. Then you have Huntsville jerseys selling like hotcakes because they have Jizz on the back.
And they're white jerseys.
Oh my god. This is why I left for so long.
Oh my gosh. I think the most fun thing about that is that, like, Travis and I suggested players that we think this could really help. And then Brian was like, no, we're here for the fucking memes.
You think it's not going to help? You think there's a better option out there than Jizz Hornkamp? No.
We get a better return financially than we would for Ake Loba.
Honestly, we would. I honestly think he would outperform Ake's time in Nashville.
Oh, we're definitely buying him out in the summer, right?
Oh, 100%.
They have to.
He has a season-ending surgery right now, so like.
Yeah. Well, aren't Mexican seasons like weird though?
They have
two seasons basically.
Right. So they're just ending the first. It's a season-ending injury for the first season, which probably ends in like 2 weeks.
He's only loaned out for that first season, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So after that, he's done. That team, Mazatlan's definitely not buying him. I can tell you that much.
What?
And
no,
we are not keeping him. So the Ake experiment is most certainly fucking done. And
I'm bummed, dude. I wanted him to work out so bad. He has
all the talent in the world, and it just didn't pan out. And I feel bad for the guy, but it's not going to work out here. Hopefully, he lands somewhere where it does. He sure as hell made enough money off of us, and what was his last team? Monterey. So
let's all laugh at anyone. Let's all laugh at anyone who bought Ake Loba jerseys.
Ooh, no, that's a feels moment for me. I feel bad for people like that.
Yeah,
optimists. That's what I call them.
I almost never put names on the back of my jersey unless it's like someone who is a verified club legend is going to remain that or are retired. You know.
Yeah.
Because boy, have I been burnt on that before. Back just. Non-soccer side story. I bought a Kenny Britt Titans jersey at a Titans game. The game he tore his ACL.
Brian, you can never buy a player's jersey at a game ever again.
Never again.
You're cursed.
Never again. Oh man. All right. Hey, we've gone about an hour, so let's wrap things up here. Any final words on last game or this week, boys?
It's not for either of the game last week or the upcoming game, but as one of the people who was able to go to the live between two posts
I somehow missed all invitations.
That was fun as hell. It was a lot of like watching Dan be uncomfortable between two posts in Ian Air is one of my favorite things.
That's awesome. Yeah, I missed all like what's it called? Invitations for that. I wish I could have gone.
Best gun for ranked play season 3. Are you ARing or SMGing?
Taylor. Dude, I only use M4 and I only use mini Bach as my secondary. That's just what I do. I run that
in ranked.
Oh, wait, I thought we were talking about Warzone. Sorry, in ranked TAC.
Wait,
I run
wait,
TAC.
are you talking about the game that he keeps ducking me in?
Bruh. He's gonna dunk on you aggressively.
I don't even have it. I don't even have the game.
Here's the thing. Multiplayer is free right now. You literally have no excuse.
Yeah, you have no excuse.
Wait,
it's free for like a week.
Well, okay, it's on Battle.net, right?
Taylor,
it's on Steam now too.
Taylor in chat says Warzone no longer has his heart. I agree. I do not like Warzone anymore, but I love Resurgence. So,
dude, DMZ slaps. Y'all are sleeping on DMZ.
What question was it? What best gun? I don't know any of the guns, dude.
God, you're gonna get smoked. Whenever we get you and Taylor into a lobby, you're gonna get smoked.
So I play Overwatch. I'm a Reinhardt main.
Gross.
God,
dead game.
But I found Travis for what? Hey, man.
Hey, I love it, dude. Taylor, hit me up if you want to play Call of Duty at any point, buddy. Not Travis though, because he's a little scaredy boy.
Hey, y'all show me how to download it, dude. I'm a boomer.
What do you mean?
I haven't.
You're younger than me. Come on, learn how to.
Activision, right? It's a Battle.net.
God, I'm gonna strike you.
We're gonna ban Travis. Can we just kick him from the call?
I'm honestly about to boot him from the call. Taylor, thanks for dropping in, buddy. Love you.
Love you, bud.
If I run into you, I'll make sure to give you a big old squeeze. Hey, don't make it weird, John. Don't make it weird.
I won't. Hey, I'm gonna get the game this weekend.
Sometimes you just need to squeeze your boys. All right.
I believe it.
All right. Well, I think that's it for this week. I did want to give one last shout out to our new podcast friends that launched today, the MLS Fashion Goals. They are kind of in the newly developed has-been like podcast network that I kind of actually want to work on. I have a couple other ideas outside of this, but if you look them up on anywhere you podcast, they already have 2 episodes out. Ranking all of the MLS jerseys, so go check them out. And stay tuned for more has-been shit in the future. I've been talking with some buds about maybe a food podcast, maybe like a tier list thing. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, go check them out and make sure you subscribe to us on both Spotify and Apple Podcast. Rate 5 stars. After 100 5-star ratings, I will eat a bug. So, if you want to see that, if that tickles your pickle, go for it. John, anything else? Travis, anything else?
Yeah, I think that's about it. I need to listen to that fashion episode, actually.
I'm going to get the Call of Duty game y'all keep talking about.
I'm going to get the Call of Duty game. Are you 50 years old?
I feel like it, man. My knees do.
I'm gonna go buy a new Nintendos and play the Call of Duty with the youths.
I'm gonna get the Call of Duty game, and I will train, and I will beat Taylor, and we'll be streamed on Has-Been Sports Twitch for all to see.
For all to watch Travis just get smoked for 30 minutes straight.
Aggressively too.
He's gonna spawn kill me or something.
Yep.
Oh no, yeah, it's absolutely gonna happen.
I think just to go on a side tangent before we end. I think one of my favorite Call of Duty memories was we had a bunch of my friends, Chris Jones, Taylor Washington, and a couple other roadies in a private match, and we picked a 2v2 like tiny map, but we put like 15 people on that map, and it was
I hate that so much.
It was so fucking chaotic. I think Taylor almost threw up from laughing. Like
I believe that.
It was something. But okay, we're gonna end here. Thank you guys for listening, watching, whatever. Please share, rate, subscribe, all that, and we will talk to you on Monday.
When's the Cake Bread podcast? Brian, I have a new one. The Ocean is Soup.
No.